In today's history video, I'd like to focus on how President Clinton worked with an opposition Congress, now that Obama has a Senate and a House controlled by the Republicans. When the election of 1994 first happened, the assumption the Republicans had was that it was just a matter of time until they would get rid of Clinton, and they saw no need to negotiate with him, no need to compromise with him. In fact, he had been elected with only 43% of the vote in 1992 because Ross Perot was in the race, and they figured that was just, an error and that the electorate would correct its error in 1996. So in the opening years, the Republicans passed their programs without any compromise and insisted on them and pushed them and pushed them. And for his part, President Clinton was still in the grip of the liberal Democratic advisors who had piloted his initiatives until '94, was only beginning to replace them with me and the people I brought in. And he also was on a collision course. And they ended up being absolutely fighting each other tooth and nail. Then, toward the middle of 1995, President Clinton gave a speech where he said, "I was not elected to produce a pile of vetoes. I want to produce accomplishments and achievements, and I'll meet the Republicans halfway." And that was the beginning of the strategy of triangulation, to take the best from each side and craft a third alternative that both sides could support. Unfortunately, the Republicans weren't buying. They still were in the flush of their '94 victory, and they insisted on passing a budget that had all of their cuts and their priorities right in there. Clinton resisted them. It led to a government shutdown. Clinton defeated the Republicans in that shutdown. And by the time we went into '96, it was, number one, clear that Clinton would be elected, and number two, clear that he had triumphed over Congress. At about that time, Bob Dole left as the majority leader of the Senate. He was going to run for president in '96, and Trent Lott took his place. And at that point, Trent and President Clinton and I spoke, and we basically said, "Hey, look, guys, we're not Democrats or Republicans, we're incumbents. And ultimately, our ability to get reelected, yours, Mr. President, in the White House, and yours with the majority of the Republicans in the Senate, hinges on your ability to produce legislation, to do something for the country. And if you do something for the country, it won't redound to the benefit of the Democrats or the Republicans, but to incumbents everywhere. And that's what you guys are. Before you have a party label, you're an incumbent." And both sides bought into that formulation. And as a result, we were able to pass welfare reform, balance the federal budget for the first time in 40 years, actually begin to pay down the national debt. We reformed environmental rules. We made health insurance portable when you go from job to job. We passed the children's health insurance program. We raised the minimum wage, did all kinds of great stuff, all really within about a 2-month period. It was one of the most productive periods in history. And based on that, Clinton and the Republican Congress were both reelected in the election of 1996. Now, will history repeat itself? Probably not. Obama has not given up on pushing his radical agenda. His announcement that he's going to ban deportations by executive order this week is a harbinger of that. And his whole approach of jamming climate change and other stuff through has to do not with compromise, not with triangulation, but if anything, moving further to the left. Unfortunate, because this would be a real opportunity to do things for the United States. But you can lead a horse to water, can't make him drink. Thanks for watching.